Hi everyone, I'm Shaheen from the Content Mix, and I'm excited to be here with Ignacio Blanco, Marketing Manager for SFx Smart Manufacturing at Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence. Thanks so much for joining us, Ignacio.
Thank you very much for having me here.
So could you start out just by telling us a bit more what that means to be Marketing Manager for SFx, what you do and how what you do relates to content?
Well, starting with the connection to content, certainly I have been always involved in communications. So in the past and for around 10, 12 years, I worked as a journalist in a national newspaper in Spain. I studied actually journalism, so I really believe in the power of content and storytelling. And at present, I work for an IT company, as you said in the introduction, Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence, and I'm the marketing manager in charge of a new business unit. So everything has been created from scratch. It's completely new, brand new product line. So from scratch, we have created the messaging, storylines, in general, all the introspection process that you need to run in order to build up a brand new product line. So recently, I have complemented my education with an MBA, which certainly it has given me a much deeper overview on the foundations of running proper strategy at all levels. And even if an MBA can be very much connected to business and administration, I was just really very surprised when doing the MBA how much is directly connected also to content and creating the mission and the vision and how important is to have a real approach to content creation.
Yeah, absolutely. Content plays a huge role in strategy. And it sounds like your role right now is really focused on strategy and managing a team. Is that right? But content is like one piece of what you do.
Exactly. It's a kind of mix. I think nowadays you cannot do a single thing, right? You need to work on multiple projects at the same time. So you have to supervise the graphic design that is aligned with the marketing storyline. And at the same time, the copywriting, at the same time, the digital marketing strategies. So it's quite a multidisciplinary role.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so you're, like you mentioned, you studied journalism and then you worked for 11 years in a major daily newspaper in Spain, La Razón. So I was curious what you learned from that experience that's directly applicable to what you do now. What skills did you learn working in the journalism industry?
I think it was a very good experience, and I always say that here in this B2B marketing environment that when you work for a newspaper, things have to be created right away. No, you have to close the edition for the next day, and even every 10 minutes, every 30 minutes that you close the edition later than expected, it's a lot of money when it comes to printing out the newspaper and so on. So everything has to be done very quickly. And in this environment, the B2B, the big corporations, everything takes ages sometimes. So I think it was a good experience to say quality, but also tight deadlines are compatible. No? So I'm trying in my position to keep an eye on the past experience when it comes to producing something on the go, no, and don't spend too much time and very long time scales.
Yeah. Can you tell us more about what a typical day is like now for you in your role at Hexagon? Hexagon. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
At Hexagon, the role is. I really like the role because it's how to say, every day you have not a new challenge, but you have a new list of challenges that are awaiting you. So it's quite dynamic position. You have to deal with completely different people. One of them are engineers, product managers that are really committed to create something in their field, and they are very much focused on specifics, technology, features, and at the same time I have to deal with marketing managers from different business units, align the ideas and work together. So it's I couldn't say how is a standard day, but because I have been working here for 5 years, and I think I didn't repeat a single day. So that's challenging, but at the same time, it keep you pushing hard, no, and evolve every day to certain directions. So I really like that.
Yeah, and so Hexagon is a really global company with Swedish roots, operates all over the world, does a lot of different things. Could you tell us a little bit more about the company and about your specific business and your specific area of responsibility? I think at SFx, working on the smart home solutions specifically, but how that plays into the broader picture at Hexagon. Yeah.
Yes, Hexagon, as you say, this is a Swedish company, but it's in all regions. We have commercial operations centers, probably in all countries, or the main countries, the main markets in the world. There are several divisions. I'm working for Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence, but there are other divisions that specialize in mining or geospatial, and there are different businesses that run in the company in completely different areas. The company is moving forward to one Hexagon that is it's a kind of mixing the technologies that were split in the different divisions in the past. So we are working more together now, but the company is covering in general the most important technologies in when it comes to manufacturing intelligence. We have our own metrology hardware, we have metrology software, we have simulation software, production software as well, and we cover the entire manufacturing process from design and engineering, manufacturing, and quality control and inspection. So it's covering the different stages when manufacturing any product. In my particular case, my business unit is focused on next generation technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, and all those kind of keywords, no, that trending topics when talking about next generation technologies. So we are exploring all those different areas.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Could you tell us more about who your audience is as well? Like who you create content for and how you communicate with them? Yeah.
Well, if I think if we talk about B2B, traditionally there has been a gap between B2B marketing and storytelling, right? Basically, the approach in the past has been too technical and based on features, technical details, specifics. That's still very, very common nowadays. But over the last years, companies and marketers, I feel that have been pushing hard in terms of content creation, storytelling, brand journalism, and completely new content strategies, not so branded. They have, or we are all trying to have particular focus on the gains for the customer, on business value, and not that much on performance and output. It's not like a table with those are the features and that's what you will get out of this product. But the storytelling is firstly is conquering the B2B world. That is the first step. But the second one is that is really addressing the customer needs, and I think that's really good, and it's appealing for the customer. And I think the brand and the product itself is not the focus anymore for none of us. But now the customer, as I said before, is the real hero of those stories, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Could you share an example of a piece of content or a type of content that's worked really well for you?
Yes, in my particular business unit, I'm moving the strategy from the brochures and the typical flyer with the technical data, the typical data sheet. I'm moving that to valuable content. No, it's through webinars, panels. It can be white papers, industry reports, podcasts. So I think is the right time to approach customers in a different way, talk the same language and understand their pain points, right? And produce content that is inspirational and is giving answers and is not selling a product, but is helping customers to overcome the problems that they might have.
And how do you source the the information for your content? I imagine, I mean, in your industry, you need to show thought leadership and expertise. How do you kind of source that information from experts in order to create that kind of content?
Yes, when creating content, for example, I organized recently a webinar on 5G and Industry 4.0. For this, I didn't want to create a webinar that it's only Hexagon people talking about this topic, no? So we engaged different magazines, obviously in our industry. They somehow they supported the event. They participated. So one of them was moderating directly the webinar. It was including our partner in this field, that is Ericsson, another Swedish company. The point was to show something that is valuable from different angles when creating content and when giving insights to the customer, because if it comes from a single voice from the company, it can be quite limited. No? So if you want a wider perspective on every topic, I think it's always good to partner with people that they have the same values, the same business goals, and they have a different point of view. So I always try to mix different resources to create something that is adding value to the customer.
Yeah, I guess this. I wanted to ask you about the importance of partnerships and co-marketing. I guess this kind of goes into that topic. But how have you used that?
Yes. Well, co-marketing, as you said before, is very much related to thought leadership and trust for the market and for customers. No, for example, as I said, we are working with Ericsson. We are working closely with Microsoft. So we are organizing joint webinars, guest blogging, panels. So I feel we have with those two, for example, at Hexagon, Microsoft, and Ericsson, we share similar business goals. We all have the domain expertise and authority in the market. So, in addition, a very important factor here that is that we are sharing the same values. No, when you are working with their marketing teams, they have also a very modern approach. They are also very pragmatic. They like to get to the point, but they love new processes and try new formats, and they are always open to listen to you and incorporate new things into their own strategies. So I think that's the right partnership strategy. But coming back to the importance of good content here, when it comes to the partnerships, we have just co-created with Ericsson an industrial report or a white paper. But as I said before, the focus is the use cases for the customer, is the customer pain points. So this report is intended to be a valuable resource with great content, great insights, but the branding Ericsson and Hexagon is not the priority here. It was done by experts in this case when you told me about their resources. So it's the best resource is always the expert in the different subjects. No? So we counted on the experts, analysts, copywriters. So it's a great marketing tool in the end, and has been driven by specialists in content. So I'm very happy with the result.
Yeah, I was curious because, of course, 2020 has been a very strange year. So has that made it easier or more difficult to do these kinds of collaborations?
It didn't change. It didn't change too much in my particular case because I have a global position, and it means I'm working with people in completely different regions, and not only in Europe. So it didn't change too much the way to interact internally. Obviously, we all miss the live meetings, no, and the personal contact with the teams and these kind of things. But it's for the smart manufacturing topic that we were discussing before. I think it was a good. It's not a good the right word, but I think it has been relatable to customers the way they had realized we have to do something that is accessible remotely, that the company can go ahead with smart processes, with people really connected, that we are not attached to that box that is the factory, for example. So I mean, for us, for my marketing department, it hasn't been so dramatic, the change. But I have seen that for customers, it has been a way to open their eyes to realize that the digital transformation is something that they need, because if something like the corona happens, no, unfortunately, they need to find a way to keep the production up and running, and people talking together, and people with access to data overcome the complexity of on-premises networks and structure. No, so I didn't notice too much this issue in my role, but I have seen that for customers it has been dramatic, and they are waking up and opening their eyes to the digital transformation because of that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very timely. So let's finish off with some of your recommendations. Could you share with us your favorite or best productivity hack?
Well, I try to be very structured and also very pragmatic. Believe me that it's very complex when dealing with technology and very different people and very different products. I'm not an engineer, right? So I have to update constantly about what the technology is about, and deep dive into every product, also from the technical point of view. But when it comes to marketing, personally, I don't believe in meetings and more meetings and calls and without takeaways. No, those calls that are just to kick off something and start or initiate any project. So for me, there has to be a roadmap, a clear scope of work and actions after the meetings. So for all my projects, I always predefine a concept map. This is the hack that you were asking about. It's a concept map for every single project, where I play with the ideas, actions. I move the elements. Does it make sense, or this assumption is right or not? Who could take the lead in this area, or is doable or not? And I try to attend those calls that I said before with a clear diagram that I share during the meetings, and then during the discussion. Obviously, it's something flexible. It's a live document, a working document that we can adapt the concepts during the discussion, no, the different points of view and the others' ideas. So by the end of the call or the meeting, the whiteboard should have evolved towards something more specific. and with clear takeaways for everyone. It's not just a video call, no, that you see each other and you exchange ideas. But in addition, I tend to share this whiteboard on my screen, and definitely saving a lot of time, and it helps me, and I feel the team as well get to the point very easily.
Yeah, so doing that pre-work like allows people to just make decisions during the meeting and move forward on the project rather than brainstorming, right?
Yes.
Yeah. makes a lot of sense. A great tip. And then, well, do you have a recommended event, group, or hashtag?
Honestly, I don't have a specific event or group to bring up here, but this question is really interesting to me, because what I have seen is that marketing, content creation, etc., is becoming an important complement to shows, fairs, relating to completely different topics. I mean, for example, I attended in January CES in Las Vegas. The show itself is about consumer electronics, so it's not marketing related.
I've been there
Itself.
actually as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great show. Happily, I think this next year it will happen again, but let's see. It's focused on TVs, autonomous vehicles, drones, smart homes. But in parallel to that part of the show, the product and the consumer electronics, if you attended it, there were plenty of options around the show itself. That they had a great agenda on marketing and content creation, storytelling. There were really great workshops around the show in different buildings, hotels. So my conclusion about this question that you asked about is that in addition to the traditional marketing events that probably we all know, and I cannot discover or invent the wheel here, but there are new opportunities that we all should keep on our radar, and it's not directly about marketing, but different industries, but they are converging together because they all need marketing and content strategies, right? So I think this is the insight that I can give.
Yeah, that's definitely been a trend, like technology events going towards having marketing aspects to the events as well. Same with like the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I also just wanted to ask if you have any marketing related publication or resource that you recommend.
Mm-hmm. Again, I think we should also look at non-traditional media in this field, because, anyways, again, I don't feel I can say too much or recommend new media that we all know, the big ones. But for example, I really like a lot two magazines: Harvard Business Review or Fast Company. So you may think that they are only about business, but they have really great insights on creativity, innovation, social media, leadership. So I think both magazines, Harvard Business Review and Fast Company, could actually be a good recommendation, because they touch from a different perspective things that are insightful, inspirational when doing marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with those recommendations. And your favorite software tool or app?
Yes, connecting this with the productivity hack, in line with that, I love Miro. I don't know if you know the app. The URL is miro.com. It's a collaboration software tool that I would define more precisely as an advanced online whiteboard. So I like it because you can outline in line with the preparation of any project, any meeting with the team. You can outline there already the skeleton, the structure of really, believe me, very complex ideas or processes. So you can clean up the project and the ideas and the approach very easily and in a very visual way. That's a good thing. So for for project management and for mind mapping, I think it's really a great tool. I highly recommend it. So if you try it, you don't need to learn too much. It's very intuitive and it's similar to a PowerPoint, but an online version that in real time you can play with mind mapping that could be really complex about a complete portfolio, and you can shape it in real time with the team members. And yeah, I love it. It's my favorite app today.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, that area, there seems to be a lot of development happening there. So it's really relevant, obviously, for all the online meetings we're having now. And I've heard a couple other ones mentioned on the podcast recently. So it's super interesting.
Yes.
I'm going to add that to my list to check out. So we're reaching the end of the interview, but just wanted to give you a final chance to give us some parting advice for other marketers in Europe, or final takeaways.
Well, I say that at the beginning of this interview that I consider that when you want to focus on marketing, on content creation, I think it's always good that you approach the position as a cross-functional role. I think it's good that you keep up to date when it comes to trends and if possible focus on specific industry, or try to specialize and learn things about something that is completely different. It's not that your background, obviously, it's that you are a good copywriter, you know about SEO, digital marketing, AdWords. But if you can complement this with something that is more unique, no? That you specialized in any sort of technology or industry, I think it's always a good point, and the market will always appreciate you.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Well, thank you so much, Ignacio, for sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. And thanks everyone for listening in. For more perspectives on the content marketing industry in Europe, check out thecontentmix.com and keep tuning into the podcast. See you next time. Bye-bye.